news, Ethiopia launches Africa's largest wind farm. Tanzania and China pen $1.7 billion energy construction deals. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport interim terminal gets $24 million boost. Namibia's Inhana Council set to build convention center. Egypt to join Ethiopia in Renaissance Dam project. Kenya Port Authority's power plant nears completion. And finally, KwaZulu-Natal's $14 million Jozini Mall set for opening. Welcome, I'm Yvonne Andiva. We start the bulletin in Ethiopia where Africa's biggest wind farm has commenced production in Ethiopia in efforts to diversify electric generation from hydropower plants and help the country become a major regional exporter of energy. Ethiopia plans to boost generating capacity from 2,000 megawatts to 10,000 megawatts within the next 3 to 5 years, much of it coming from 6,000 megawatts Grand Renaissance Dam under construction in the River Nile. The plan also consists of raising wind power generation to more than 800 megawatts and geothermal capacity to less than 100 megawatts. The $290 million Ashegoda wind farm was built by French firm Wagner SA with the concessional loans from BNP Paribas and the French Development Agency AFD. The Ethiopian government covered 9% of the cost. Speaking during the launch of the wind farm, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Hailemariam said various studies have proven that there is potential to harness abundant wind energy resources in every region of Ethiopia, adding that the country cannot maintain growth without utilizing the energy sector. And across the borders, now to Tanzania. Tanzania has signed contracts worth $1.7 billion with 6 Chinese companies to construct power plants and housing units in East Africa's second largest economy. The signing of the investment deals was witnessed by Tanzanian Prime Minister Mizengo Pinda in Guangzhou, China. The new investment deal marks China's growing economic presence in Tanzania, which has made big discoveries of natural gas off its southern coast. The deals include a $692.7 million contract awarded to Tebian Electric Operators Stock, China's largest manufacturer of high-voltage transformers, for the construction of a 400 kilovolt power transmission line. Tanzanian state-run National Housing Corporation also signed deals worth $700 million with the China Railway Zhengchang Engineering Company and China Poly Group Corporation to develop residential and commercial property. Over to Kenya now, where the board of the African Development Bank, AFDB Group, has approved to finance the construction of an interim terminal at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to the tune of $24 million. This is part of the emergency recovery measures undertaken by the government following the August 7th fire accident at the airport, which destroyed the international arrivals terminal. According to AFDB's Regional Director for the Eastern African Resource Center, Gabriel Negatu, the financing is part of savings made from the recently completed bank finance project funded under the concessionary window African Development Fund. The terminal will be a 10,000 meters square facility and will have a capacity to handle annual traffic of 2.5 million for international and domestic arriving and departing passengers. And now in Namibia, the Inhana Town Council intends to construct a modern convention center at a cost of $15 million to promote investments and local economic development. The center, to comprise conference facilities, 2 exhibition halls, offices, and a shopping arcade, will also host the annual Inhana Trade and Business Expo. Inhana Town Council Chief Executive Officer Valden Devashia said at a media briefing recently that despite the resounding success of this year's expo, the town needs a more spacious center. With the recently introduced Massed Housing Development Initiative, the Council has again made available a new planned residential area with 500 plots. The construction of the Enhana Sport Complex is also underway, with the first phase of the project almost complete. And now in Egypt. Egypt and Ethiopia may soon reach an agreement over the construction of the Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile in Ethiopia. Both countries have recently shown good faith and agreed to negotiate about the project. Egypt has even agreed to take part in building the dam, though without declaring its conditions for doing so. Recently, Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam announced that his country welcomes the participation of Egypt and Sudan in the construction of the dam, and stressed that this government considers the dam to be jointly owned by 3 countries. Egypt viewed his statement as a positive step towards reaching a consensus on the project, despite its earlier sharp criticism. Egyptian Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation, Mohamed Abdul Muttalib, said that they don't mind joining the Ethiopian government in building the dam. In Kenya, construction of KPL's Kipevu substation in Mombasa is 55% complete. The project is expected to be completed by February 2014. The plant, which costs $6 million, will boost power supply to the port from 11 kilovolts to 132 kilovolts. The project is being implemented jointly by Consolidated Power Project of Southern Africa and Kenya's Power Generation Technologies. Kenya Power and Lighting Company are responsible for the design and supervision of the project, which includes installation of 2 giant step-down transformers. KPA Head of Corporate Affairs Bernard Osero said that the upgrade will save the port and related activities against frequent power outages. In September, KPA lost $8 million in business revenue following a 3-day power blackout that hit most parts of Mombasa. We conclude our bulletin in South, where Jozini Mall, the new 18,000 meter square community shopping center in northeastern KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, owned and developed by Greater Atlantic Properties Pty Limited, is now fully let and will open anytime soon. Jozini Mall, located on the main road to the Jozini CBD, is one of the most densely populated residential areas of the region. This excellent position and visibility heighten its attraction to both shops and shoppers. The mall is also easy to visit, with 36 taxi bays, 8 bus bays, and over 400 parking bays. National tenants who have committed exceeded 85% of the area. Jozini Mall's market includes over 42,000 households in its primary and secondary catchment area. Thank you for choosing to watch Construction Videos. For more news, the digital version of our print edition, a directory, and much more on the construction industry in Africa, please visit www.constructionreviewonline.com. Until next week, I'm Yvonne.